So recently I've had a few clients who just weren't ready to shave their head. They just didn't want to do it. They wanted to keep what little they had, and shaving their head was just not a thing. And it got me thinking a lot, what is this? Where does this come from? It goes all the way back into history, like even to the biblical days with Samson and his powerful hair, the ancient Greek, the samurais, and so many other cultures throughout history found hair as a sign of strength, right? And youth, right? If you were losing your hair, you weren't seen as somebody who was powerful, right? You were aging or maybe sick. And the only people who shaved their head were people like the Christian monks, who did it to prove that they didn't care about vanity and that they were following chastity, right? So it's deeply rooted in our history, right? So this is something that's maybe been passed along into our psyche without even noticing it, right? Ancestral trauma, we can call it. Now, this is something that has been carried on for a very long time, and it was even in the 80s and 90s, a bald guy or a shaved head was not something that you saw in popular culture. You didn't see it in movies, and if you did, it was towards a negative connotation. And it really wasn't until the 2000s that we started seeing this in a positive manner. Before the 2000s, you thought of a bald man typically as someone who was short, fat, not very good looking. Think of like George Costanza from Seinfeld, right? And as we took the turn into the 2000s, we started seeing something different in pop culture. We started seeing guys like Jason Statham, started seeing guys like Vin Diesel, and later The Rock, and so many others who were strong, powerful, ferocious guys. We started seeing this in pop culture. So there was a really interesting study done in 2012 by a man named Albert Manns. He found that baldness was a sign of a dominant leader. He did tons of tests, asked a bunch of questions, showed people what a gentleman looked like with hair and without hair, and it was proven that the bald head or shaven head was a look of power, a look of dominance, right? This is something now that screams confidence, right? It's no longer a weak look. When you think about somebody who has a bald head, you think about a bald guy with muscles, right? That's typically where we go, and it's crazy how this has changed. So for all of you who are holding on to your thin hair and things like that, and worried about what you're gonna look like or what other people are gonna think about your shaved head, remember, things have changed, and you're now in a position of power, in a look of power, in a look of confidence, right? And that's what SMP is all about. That's what my art is all about, is reclaiming that confidence, that self-image, and taking back your power, right? So get in here, let that thinning hair go, let's shave you down, let's give you that nice shaved look, get that confidence back.